Over the past months, a new COVID variant called Cicada has been detected in multiple countries around the world, and scientists have been quietly monitoring it. But the real question is this just another Omicron subvariant, or something we should actually worry about? The Cicada variant, scientifically known as BA.3.2, is a descendant of Omicron that was first identified in South Africa in late 2024. Since then, genomic surveillance has detected it in more than 20 countries across different continents, although the data is still somewhat limited. According to major health agencies like the WHO and ECDC, it is currently classified as a variant under monitoring, meaning it has notable genetic changes, but there is no clear evidence yet that it poses a higher risk. One of the reasons this variant has attracted attention is its unusually high number of mutations, especially in the spike protein, which is the part of the virus responsible for entering human cells and interacting with our immune system. In fact, laboratory analyses suggest that Cicada carries dozens of changes in key regions like the receptor binding domain, making it antigenically quite different from previous Omicron variants. This helps explain why early lab studies have shown a reduction in antibody neutralization, meaning that immunity from past infections or vaccines may be less effective at blocking infection, at least in vitro. However, and this is extremely important, lab findings do not always translate directly into real-world outcomes. So far, surveillance data from multiple regions have not shown any consistent evidence that Cicada spreads faster or causes more severe disease compared to other circulating variants. Clinically, the symptoms reported, such as sore throat, cough, fatigue, and congestion, appear very similar to what we have already seen with other Omicron subvariants. In other words, despite its genetic differences, its behavior in the real world seems relatively familiar so far. The question many people are asking is whether current vaccines still work against this variant. While it's true that lab studies show reduced neutralization, both WHO and CDC emphasize that this does not mean vaccines have stopped working. In fact, the available evidence strongly suggests that vaccination, especially with recent boosters, still provides significant protection against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. So rather than a complete immune escape, what we're seeing is more of a partial reduction in protection against infection, which is something we've already observed with previous variants. Another reassuring aspect is that, based on current data, Cicada does not appear to compromise our main diagnostic tools or treatments. PCR tests and rapid antigen tests continue to detect it effectively, and antiviral medications such as Paxlovid and remdesivir are expected to remain active against this variant. So from a clinical management perspective, there is no major change at this stage. That said, there are still important uncertainties. A significant limitation is that genomic sequencing is incomplete and often delayed, which means that the true spread of the variant might be underestimated or in some cases misinterpreted. Additionally, some of the signals we see, for example in wastewater surveillance, suggest local increases but not a clear global dominance. This is why health authorities are continuing to monitor Cicada closely, looking for any signs of increased transmissibility, severity, or impact on healthcare systems. So, what's the bottom line? The Cicada variant is scientifically interesting and worth monitoring because of its mutations and immune escape potential, but at the moment, there is no evidence that it represents a major new threat. As always with COVID, the situation can evolve, but for now, this appears to be another step in the ongoing evolution of the virus rather than a dramatic shift.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more content.